Hi, everybody. I'm here with my sidekick Dana today, and we have with us guests Tammy Steinbrecher and Kristin Kill. And all of these three gals have been taking some online lessons with me, virtual lessons. And Dana was determined to tell you all about it. So I'm actually going to take a back seat tonight. I'm going to be the person listening, mostly about these gals talking about the lessons. So, Dana, take it away.
Awesome. Yeah, student confessions here today. So we're talking about virtual coaching and lessons. I really enjoy it. So we just wanted to hear from Tammy and Kristin, their experience, because I know they've been taking lessons for longer from you. So ladies, how did you get started with IDA?
So I started with IDA kind of by accident. I think we were on a committee together on WDAA. And then she told me she was going to be at a clinic at Stacy Westfall's. And so I contacted Stacy and ended up in the clinic for the weekend. And I was like completely blown away by what I learned on that weekend. And then we had a subsequent WDAA informational clinic the next day after the 2 days we had at the riding clinic. And then there was one up in a nice quarter horse farm up in Ohio. So I went there and watched her do that presentation for the day. So the first year I was with IDA, she had to write a test where you can do a test and you can send it in, and she would come back with feedback. So you would video it, send it in, and then you'd stop and go off of YouTube. And we spent the whole year doing that. And then because she judged the World Show, then I couldn't study with her throughout the summer. But we had quite a good time doing that. And then I had my regular coach here. So after that, when I got home, I was always thinking, have a person on the ground, how important that was. But once the World Show was over and Ida and I were just talking, and I'm like reevaluating and saying, you know what, I'm just going to stick with Ida. So now we're on year 3. So, and it's been a good ride.
Awesome. And Tammy, how'd you get started?
Well, I was at the World Show in 2022, and Ida was judging there, and she had put her name down at the silent auction to have a lesson with her auctioned off. And after some fierce bidding, I came out on top and I won her at the auction. I always said she was the best silent auction gift I've ever won. And so I approached her at the show when everything was done to tell her, you know, I won you in the auction and I have a gated horse, to let her know. And she was absolutely unfazed by that. We got home, recuperated from the World Show, and I contacted her via phone because I didn't know how to use the equipment I had. I had a Pivot from years past, and I had a 10-year-old Bluetooth device, but I really didn't know how to use them in a lesson. So we started out doing it telephonically, and then I sent her a video, and then we were able to get my equipment all going. And then the rest was history. Been doing it. We're on year 2 now.
That's so cool. So Tammy, just tell me, how different do you think it is taking the virtual lessons versus like a live lesson?
There are pluses and minuses to both. Obviously, in a live lesson, an instructor could actually walk over and place, like if your leg was in the wrong position, they could place your leg in the correct position. There's a lot more hands-on like that. But I feel like when you teach virtually, you have to have a better vocabulary, a better word tool chest to pull out, to really, because everything is done by description. You know, you're saying, I need you to do this, and we all learn a little differently. So I may not be understanding one thing, and she can't walk over and show me, so she really has to be good at describing it to me. So through that, it's been incredible, because she is a very descriptive person, the way she does her lessons. And it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, I relate to that, because I was saying, taking the virtual lessons with Ida, it's almost like you make me find the answer myself. So
Yes.
It's almost like you're creating the feel. You're like, what did you do there? You know, and it's like, I have to answer that and I have to figure it out. And I feel like that's really helpful.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. Kristen, how do you feel taking virtual lessons compared to live lessons?
So I've been doing virtual for quite some time before
Okay.
I came to IDA. And originally I do all Pivo now, but originally I had different equipment. So I sort of lumped through that. But and then I did have my eyes on the ground, but it, you know, I told Ida this last week. I just got eagle eyes. Like she's an eagle. Like it is unbelievable the little things she can see that I do. And I know when she says it, she just picks up on it. So it's not just taking the online lesson, it's who the learned person is that has watched enough video such that they're able to see exactly what you're doing wrong. And as soon as she says it, I've just been amazed by like, whoa, whoa. So if I compare her to my previous experiences, and I just have a higher level person, number one, but number two, just her experience with having the online experience, judging the shows, you know, from way back when they probably sent tapes to her or something. And so that's really what made a big difference. And so it's been nice when she's come to some clinics and then we could, you know, physically have that time. And she's coming again in May, and she was here last year, and I went to Stacy's. So we touch base every now and then, and she was there for the World Show for us. So that made a difference too. But in
Yes.
between times, I find the Pivo highly effective. And it's also for me made a huge difference that I can choose who to work with. Out of all the high level people in Western Dressage that teach, we get to choose who we want to work with simply because we've got a robotic camera and a learned person on the other side that's able to work with us, you know, in that venue. So it's an unusual thing that kind of got created out of the pandemic, but it's also a privilege to be able to have an IDA. And I wouldn't have had that otherwise.
Yeah, that is awesome. So I want to get into some of maybe the interesting things that have gone on your lesson, maybe something challenging. Tammy, if you want to start us off.
Probably some of the challenging things to me were definitely just learning the equipment. I'm not a very technologically savvy person. I'm not very good with computers, and anything, which I know this is not high tech, but it is to me. And just that was a big learning curve with that. Interesting things that happened during the lesson are my dogs will wander in the middle of the ring and just kind of lay down, and you can't, you know, you want to shoo them out of there. Or like today we had roofers during my lesson was putting a roof on my neighbor's house, and you could hear the pow, 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 pow. And my horse is all over the place, but it's our lesson time, so we have to do it. But I told her what was going on, but she can't see it, of course, because it's happening behind the camera. And it's just funny, that part.
That is, I will say the roofing thing, I don't know what it is, but my neighbors are always working on the roof of their chicken coop when I take a lesson with Ida.
Oh, no.
So that's funny.
Nail guns.
Yes.
Nail guns.
Kristen, how about you?
The couple of things that I remember is like, you'll be going along and then all of a sudden the wind blows your Pivo over. Or
Yes.
like if we lose connection, then we have to go back and you're on horseback. So then you have to, you know, bless you for being patient. Then you have to reconnect. And I'm going to tell the story of what happened a couple of weeks ago, Ida, because
Oh boy, this is a funny
is
one.
that okay? Is that all right?
Yeah,
I'm telling on
that's
myself.
cute.
But the thing falls down. So not last week, but the week before, and those of you who know me and a lot of people that watch this know who I am. We get all connected and Ida can see the arena and everything's great. And I can hear Ida, but she cannot hear me. So I'm like, something's wrong, something's wrong, something's wrong. So, I'm going to redo it, connect back again through the Pivo. She still can't hear me. So she says, well, why don't we just do a lesson anyway? And you just have to listen. You got to be kidding. So Kristin Kill could not talk. So I used sign language, you know, canner, you know, like, and I just had to listen. And I have to tell you, it was one of our best lessons. So
It was-
throughout this
it was
process, just
awesome.
that little thing that happened glitchy wise was a huge blessing, because now I know I'm supposed to shut up and listen to Ida, which doesn't come easy for me, obviously. But so those little tiny things, and it really was a very cool moment. I told my husband, and I thought, oh, I can't tell anybody else that. But you know what? It is a good example of things that happen that can shift how you learn. And the Pivo, it wouldn't have happened otherwise if it wouldn't have been an online thing.
I love that story. So how do you feel how your progression with what you're working on has gone since taking the virtual lessons?
For me,
Yeah.
oh, everything has changed. So I think it's the virtual lesson with Ida that has changed it, because I was doing all Pivo before. But again, it's so important to choose your professional. And with the
Yes.
world at your feet, you could have anybody. But the one that has made me progress the most has been Ida, and her insistence on correctness and how she teaches things and how she thinks through things. And then also, if you do a film thing, and then you can go look together on YouTube and go through a tape together. I love actually doing that. We don't do enough of it. We'll do it again when we're starting to do tests. But then you develop an eye.
Mm.
So Ida has been very instrumental in me developing a better eye to watch dressage, whether I'm watching myself, which I do a lot on my videos because I video myself, or to watch and learn from other people. So I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, absolutely. And Tammy, how about you?
Well, I'd like to kind of second what Kristin said there too. One of the most compelling things, I guess, that I have learned through this whole process is I truly appreciate the amount of knowledge that Ida brings to the table. It just amazes me how any one person could have that level of horsemanship. I mean, she's still riding, she's still doing it. You know, she's out there competing in level 5. You don't get away with anything with her. She can see everything. They can zoom in with that pivot, and every little detail. I second what Kristin said about the perfection. You know, when you take a lesson with her, as you ladies know, it's you're going to walk away having learned something and done something correctly. So when your time to your next level lesson, you're going to be practicing it correctly. And I'm just amazed at just what a horsewoman she is, the knowledge that she has. And because of that, it has just, my Western dressage journey has really grown tenfold since I started taking lessons with her. She's really, in addition to teaching correctness, she teaches theory behind the movements. I've learned not just what to do in a test, but why those particular maneuvers are in a particular level and how they build on each other to the next level, and why they were placed in a particular sequence from one test level up to the next. I never really thought about it a lot until she started explaining it, and it makes a lot of sense. And she's always watching out for your horse if it looks a little off or it looks a little tired, or she picks up on all of that.
Yeah.
It's not just getting through lessons. She's looking out for your horse as well and making sure they're comfortable, especially when you're learning something new. They might be a little tight through a part of their body because it's a new area we're working. It's just been an incredible journey, and I second what Kristin said. When you can have the best out there, thanks to this technology, it's nice that we have that opportunity to choose.
Yeah.
Oh, such kind words. I'm blushing, but thank you. It's always an honor when someone comes to you and trusts you. You know, judging is always an honor because someone trusts you and places themselves in a competition where you preside. And it's an honor always to teach people. And my job is to lead you faithfully and correctly and with as much patience and clarity as possible. But students are very patient with instructors too, and you all are very patient, you know, with me, and you are very patient with the thoroughness of the education, because I know I have sometimes tried to instruct people that were like, oh, I just want to get to this. I just want to get to, I just want to get to fill in the blank, maybe, like a half pass, a shoulder in or whatever. And now, you have to say to somebody, well, we can't get the horse round to the bridle, i.e. in connection on the bit, and we can't get forward to the steady impulsion. So I can't teach you shoulder in today. You came here wanting to take a shoulder in lesson. And it's sort of like someone who wants to learn to drive and they don't know how to start the car. I want to say I'm very appreciative of the fact that you're all very patient of my style of teaching, because although I'm not there with you, I do require you all to have notebooks. You know that you're tired of hearing about the notebook, but I'm always saying to you, okay, I need you to get
Right,
down
here's
and
someone.
record in your notebook all of the exercises we did today. I do send people video links, like I need you to look at this. I assign you all homework, like I want you to work on this until I see you next time, and I suggest books for you to read. And Kristin knows, because she takes advantage of this more than any student. She texts me a lot in between lessons because she has questions, and her mind is running away with her with, oh my God, I can't find the right answer and I'm worried about this. And comes the text or the question, and I'm texting back, because those need to be answered. And if you were live at your writing lesson, you would walk up to your instructor and ask them. And just because I'm not there doesn't mean that I'm not available to you. And you all are very patient with this style of teaching. And over many, many years of teaching, because I've been teaching since I was 13, I figured out that a notebook is necessary for writers to capture their thoughts, even if it's not handwritten, if it's on their phone or whatever, but capturing what you're thinking about and reviewing that before you write again, and having other things to look at. And one of you mentioned looking together, I think Kristin mentioned looking together at their own tapes and training your eye, because my job is not to stand there and say, left leg now, right rein now, because that doesn't make you free of me. My job is to make you independent of me, that you can go to the warm up by yourself because you know how to warm up your horse, because you know when the half halt should be applied, how it should be applied, and what it's going to do for you, and how your horse should feel, not make you dependent upon me. My job is to make you independent of me, and you all ride your own horses, and that makes you a trainer. And so my job is to teach you as if you were another professional and to train you to be your own trainer. So you're very patient with this style of teaching, and I teach everyone like this. I don't alter my teaching anymore. I learned a long time ago that no other style was effective. So thank you. Thank you for that.
Well, thank you, Ida. I know when I first signed on with you and you talk about the homework, you sent me many articles that were past articles you had written, past articles that other people had written that you thought would be helpful for me where I was. You sent me books to read. You made me go out and buy a journal so I could document each ride. And I thought, what am I getting myself into? I just wanted a riding lesson. But what I realized was I got so much more. And I so appreciate it. I love listening to you talk about your experiences and the people that you have apprenticed with, your times in Florida, traveling back and forth from the Northeast to there, what you've done throughout your lifetime. I feel very honored to be one of your students. And it really kind of was my dream come true this last year at the World Show, because I always tell my husband, well, it'd only be better if I could have a live lesson with her. And I was like, ooh, the World Show, I get a whole week with her. And every day, the way you were with me and Kristin, I really enjoyed that. It was our little barn family there, our show family, and I really enjoyed that.
And obviously we did well. And I don't know if it's always about that. As long as, we are out there with our horses and our intentions are there. And, you know, under stress, I've never been coached in the arena before like that, like I was this year at Worlds.
Right.
No, I always put my own self in, and I was a little nervous about getting coached. And you did adjust very, very, very well to that paranoia I had about going, oh, what if I don't get it right? But we did a great job together, I thought. So it felt more like a partnership than a, you know, somebody telling you what to do.
And sometimes, you know, you've all been very patient with the systematic teaching, and I'm very grateful for that. Thank you. And it's an honor to teach anyone, and it's an honor to teach you all. And you're bright. You're all bright, and you're fun, and you work hard. I'm hard worker, and you gals are all very hard workers. And I love that about all of you.
Oh, thank you. And I just want to thank Kristin and Tammy for coming on today and just sharing your experience with virtual coaching, and how to just get top-notch training really wherever you are. So worldwide, you can get top-notch training through virtual coaching. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.